At it again, and there's something major that I want to talk to you guys about today. Somebody's been receiving a lot of fire recently, and I think it's time I come to discuss it with you guys a little bit. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. If you'd like to help me out even further with this YouTube algorithm too, watch the video to the very end. Helps out tremendously. I will greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, well, actually, before we jump into it, this is a divisive issue, so stick around, give me some time, and I think all of you across the board will appreciate what it is that I have to say. Okay, I'm going to play the clip, and then I'm going to dive into my thoughts and my feelings about the clip and what I've been seeing regarding the clip. Okay, so stick around, all right? I think you're really going to appreciate this one. Let's dive in.
I do want to talk about the issue of abortion, which is important to a lot of voters all across the country. Just this week, women in Idaho and Tennessee, I don't know if you saw this, filed suit against their state saying their lives were put at risk after they were denied abortion services because their state's restrictive laws put in place after Roe was overturned. So my question for you, Mr. President, is how is it acceptable in America that women's lives are at risk, doctors are being forced to turn away patients in need, or risk breaking the law?
Ready? A little bit of a long answer. I hope you have time.
I hope you have time. Okay. I'm here for as long as you have.
Roe v. Wade. For 52 years, people, including Democrats, wanted it to go back to states so that states could make the right. Roe v. Wade, I did something that nobody thought was possible, and Roe v. Wade was terminated, was put back to the states. Now, people, pro-lifers, have the right to negotiate for the first time. They had no rights at all. Because the radical people on this are really the people, the Democrats, that say after 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, and even after birth, you're allowed to terminate the baby.
Democrats aren't saying that. I just have to. Democrats are not saying that.
Of course
That's
they
not
are.
true.
You have a Virginia governor.
That's a lie.
Previous governor, who said after the baby is born, you will make a determination, and if you want, you will kill that baby.
But
the
Mr.
baby is now born.
Democrats writ large are not talking about that. Only 1% of late-term abortions happen in. Always in the state of
They are
crisis.
the radical people because nobody wants to see abortion after 5 months and 6 months and 7 months. And
you notice how she tried to change it up after he called her out on it too. That's hilarious.
Now it gave people that believe in pro-life. Look, just so you understand, it's pretty much 50-50. It's a 50-50 issue. Amazing. If you look at the charts, it's been 49-51. It's been like that for many years. Goes both ways. 51, both ways. Ready? I was able to do something which gave at least pro-life people a voice. Now it's going to work out. Now the number of months will be determined. And you're going to have something where everybody comes together.
Does it bother you, though, that women say their lives are being put at risk? Do you feel you bear any responsibility? Because, as you say, you are responsible.
What's going to happen, this is an issue that's been going on for a long time, and it's a very polarizing issue. Because of what's been done and because of the fact we brought it back to the states, we're going to have people come together on this issue. They're going to determine the time because nobody wants to see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Nobody wants to see abortions when you have a baby in the womb. I said with Hillary Clinton when we had the debate, I made a statement, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month. You're allowed to do that, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Again, no one is arguing for that. That's not a part of anyone's platform, Mr.
Yes,
the Democrats are able to kill the baby after birth.
Let me talk to you.
Nobody wants that.
Democrats don't want that
So
either.
we're going to come together.
I want to know what you want. I want to know what you're going to do if you're
reelected. We are going to come
together. Would you sign
together.
federal legislation that would ban abortion at 15 weeks?
No. Let me just tell you what I do. I'm going to come together with all groups, and we're going to have something that's acceptable. Right now, to my way of thinking, the Democrats are the radicals. Because after 4 and 5 and 6 months, but you have to say this, after birth. You have New York State and other places that pass legislation where you're allowed to kill the baby after birth.
Mr. President, I want to give voters who are going to be weighing in on this election a very clear sense of where
I think
you stand on
I think they're all going to like me. I think both sides are going to like me.
What's
going to have to happen is you're going to have to listen.
Please.
You're asking me a question. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with a number of weeks or months. You're going to come up with a number that's going to make people happy, because 92% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
If a federal ban landed on your desk, if you were reelected, would you sign it at 15
Are you
weeks?
talking about a complete ban?
A ban at 15 weeks?
Well, people are starting to think of 15 weeks. That seems to be a number that people are talking about right now.
Would you sign that?
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years. I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that
I
goes
think what
too
he
far?
did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. But we'll come up with a number. But at the same time, Democrats won't be able to go out in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months and allow an abortion. And, Kristen, you have to look at this because you said no. You have some states that are allowed to kill the child after birth, and you can't allow that.
But, Mr. President, again, no one is calling for a child to be killed after birth. No one.
Yes, they are. Stop it. Quit lying.
Calling for that.
But you
to
have
be allowed.
legislation.
But let me just ask
Kristen,
you.
You have legislation in certain states where it's allowed.
Mr. President.
The governor of Virginia, previous governor, who was a whack job. I call him the Michael Jackson governor.
No one's talking about that
governor,
as part of their platform. I want to know what
that governor said you can kill the baby after birth.
But, Mr. President, this is about what you would do if you were reelected. As you know, you upset
We
some
will agree to a number of weeks, which will be where both sides will be happy. We have to bring the country together on this issue.
Mr. President, when you talk about negotiating, I think a lot of people think to themselves, this is an issue that they care about deeply in their hearts.
Oh, I care about it
They know
too.
where they stand, and they want to know where you stand. As you know, some anti-abortion groups are really looking for some clarity from you. So let me just ask you to put a fine point on this. Should the federal government impose any abortion restrictions, or should it be completely left up to the states?
No, I don't think you should have. I don't think you should be allowed to have abortions well into a pregnancy.
But what about the question I just asked you?
We're going to agree to a number of weeks or months or however you want to define it. And both sides are going to come together. And both sides, and this is a big statement, both sides will come together. And for the first time in 52 years, you'll have an issue that we can put behind us.
At the federal level?
It could be state or it could be federal. I don't frankly care.
So you're not committed to a ban at the federal level?
I will say this. Everybody, including the great legal scholars, love the idea of Roe v. Wade terminated so it be brought back to the states.
It sounds like that's what you think, too, that it should remain a state issue.
I would say this. From a pure standpoint, from a legal standpoint, I think it's probably better, but I can live with it either way. It's much more important. The number of weeks is much more important. But something will happen with the number of weeks, the amount of time, after which you can't do it. And you know what? The most powerful people that are anti-abortion are okay with that now. And you know what? They weren't okay with that even a year ago.
Your former Vice President, Mike Pence, believes that a fetus should have constitutional rights. Do you believe that, Mr.
Well,
President?
Mike Pence said something about 15 weeks, too, which was a big change for Mike Pence because Mike Pence had no exceptions. I have exceptions, by the way. I think people should have exceptions. I think if it's rape or incest or the life of the mother, I think you have to have exceptions.
Does a fetus have constitutional rights, Mr. President?
And a lot of people, when they don't have exceptions. Now, I will tell you that I think most people, most Republicans are willing. You go life of the mother, rape, incest. I think most of them are there.
But should a fetus have constitutional rights, Mr. President?
Well, I don't know what he's saying because before he wanted, you couldn't have abortion.
But what are you saying?
Now all of a sudden,
you think?
Excuse me. Now all of a sudden he's saying 15 weeks. I said, wow, where did that come from? That's a radical change. Look, something is going to happen that's going to be good for everybody. And that's what I'm almost like a mediator in this case. They wanted Roe v. Wade terminated because it was inappropriate. We got it done. Something's going to happen. It's going to be a number of weeks. Something's going to happen where both sides are going to be able to come together. And then we'll be able to go into other things like the economy, our military.
Are you saying a federal ban with exceptions? Is that what you're saying?
What I say is very simple, because you can't put words in my mouth like that. Because you've been hearing me talk about this issue, and I think talk about it very productively. It could be a state ban. It could be a federal ban. But Democrats want that, too. Democrats don't want to see abortion in the 7th month. Okay, I speak to a lot of Democrats. They want a number. There is a number, and there's a number that's going to be agreed to. And Republicans should go out and say the following, because I think the Republicans speak very inarticulately about this subject. I watched some of them without the exceptions, et cetera, et cetera. I said, other than certain parts of the country, you're not going to win on this issue, but you will win on this issue when you come up with the right number of weeks, because Democrats don't want to be radical on the issue. Most of them, some do. They don't want to be radical on the issue. They don't want to kill a baby in the 7th month or the 9th month or after birth. And they're allowed to do that, and you can't do that.
So there you have it. And thank you to those that stuck around, because I understand that this is a very divisive issue. And I've been seeing some people really criticize Trump, mainly some prominent figures. I'm not going to name names because I'll say this. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, okay? I'm not trying to, down anybody or anything like that. Please don't take that out of this whole situation, okay? That's why I'm not naming any names intentionally. But I will say there's some figures, that make content similar to mine that have criticized Trump for making that statement. And they've said, oh, he's giving in to the Democrats. Well, I disagree. And hear me out, because I understand it is a very divisive issue. And listen, hear me out, guys. I say that because of this. If we are winning, right, which we are, and I've shown you the evidence, the polls, everything else to prove it. You can see the left panicking, the whole nine. If we are winning, why would Donald Trump give the left something to rally the troops off of? We saw what happened in the midterms, right? Remember, we were all talking about a red wave, red tsunami, yada, yada, yada. And then Roe v. Wade hit. And look what happened. Look what happened. People came out in droves, not to vote for Biden or anybody, right? But it was against the abortion issue. So the last thing we want to do is to give Democrats a way to crawl their creepy little behinds out of the corner. That's the last thing we want to do. I'm sure once Donald Trump gets in office, he's going to do the right thing. But the key to the game is to win the game so you can make sure the game never has to be played again. If you don't win the game, none of this means absolutely nothing. You can say, oh no, we want to get rid of abortion all you want to. But if you don't have Trump and Republicans, true Republicans in office, it means nothing. It means nothing. So when people try to criticize Trump and say he's a terrible person, I just don't understand. He gave the perfect answer. He didn't give them any type of ammo. They have nothing. Because let me say this. I guarantee you, if he would have said what he was actually feeling, and you saw him pause a couple of times there, like he almost said it. I'm glad he didn't. But you saw him pause. And if he would have said, yes, we're banning it, we all know, anybody with half of a brain cell knows exactly what would have happened. Democrats, every single one of them would have been out in the street saying we cannot elect these Republicans because they're going to take away your rights. Every single one of them. And the mainstream media would have been repeating it for the next 24 months. It would have been on repeat. They're going to take away your rights. They're going to take away your rights. We got to get out and vote. They're going to take away your rights. We don't want them to rally on anything. They have nothing at this point. They've got nothing. And I've talked about this before. This Trump 2.0, man, he's polished up. This guy's good. He's real good. In every single interview that I've checked him out, he hasn't given them anything. And I've talked about this before. He hasn't given them any ammo. Nothing. They leave these interviews with nothing to rally the troops off of. And that's what they want. That's why you saw her going back and forth for a whole 15 minutes on the same thing. He kept giving her the same answer and she kept trying to ask the same question, just wording it differently. for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Because they want him to be able, they want him to say something that they can rally the troops off of. He didn't give it to them. I'm happy about that. And so should you. Even if you're totally against abortion, I'm sure when Uncle Trump gets in office, he's going to do the right thing, right? But the purpose of the game is to win it. You're not going to win it making a statement like that. And at the end of the day, because I know somebody's saying, well, you shouldn't. At the end of the day, what means more, words or actions? What means more, words or actions? So because he doesn't exactly say exactly what you want him to say, that's the end of the world. I would just love to ask. To me, actions mean a whole lot more than words. Because somebody could say that they're gonna, punch me in the face or something, but that means absolutely nothing to me unless they're actually gonna do it. Them saying, "Hey, Rich, I'm about to punch you in the face." Okay, and what? Okay, like that means nothing to me until they actually do it. Okay, now we got a situation on our hands. Now, right? Them saying it does nothing to me. I can go about the rest of my life just fine. He or she said they were going to punch me in the face. So what? Until they actually do it, it means nothing. It means nothing. It's the same thing with Uncle Trump, right? So before people get, all in a bunch about this, and I was reading through, the comment section on one of the person's videos. I didn't read through the other one I saw. I probably should have, but most people realize that the individuals were wrong on saying that Donald Trump, was wrong about not making a stance against abortion. Most people realized that the goal is to win, and you're not going to win by making a statement like that. So I was happy to see that. I was just kind of frustrated to see, some, prominent figures speaking out against Donald Trump the way that they did. I'm not saying you can't criticize Donald Trump, but I feel like I'm new to politics, and once again, this isn't. I'm not trying to throw no shade. This is just okay. Don't take that out of what I'm saying. Like kudos and much love to those individuals. I have no malice or ill intent or ill will for those individuals, or I'm not trying to down them or anything like that. I want to make that completely clear. All right, because people like to start drama. Oh, well, Doc Rich said this, and he was the one that. No. Stop that right now. I want to make that completely clear. Just all right. Just stop it. Stop it. I'm just saying I completely disagree with that, and those are the reasons why. You have to have some strategy if you're going to win. You got to have strategy, and I feel like Uncle Trump has had all the strategy in the world since, he began the second run. His interviews have been on point. He hasn't given Democrats anything to rally the troops off of. And you had that once again with this situation here. So I'm not disappointed that, he didn't, completely make a stand on it or gave in to Democrats, right? I think he gave the perfect answer. You guys can let me know in the comment section how you feel about it. Like I said, of course, I understand this is a divisive issue, which is why I was hoping you guys stuck around to this point. I just wanted to show you the clip first, right, before I gave my thoughts and my opinions on it. Let me know how you feel about, this whole situation, what I had to say about it and everything. Because once again, all of that means nothing unless we win. It means nothing, in my humble opinion, right? Of course, I could always be wrong. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Maybe I'm the bimbo in this situation. Maybe I'm the bozo. But my goal is winning. Once we win, then we can do the things that we need to do, right? But the goal is to win. And right now we are winning. So the goal is to make sure that we don't do anything to lose. And I feel like making a stance on that issue would have been doing something to possibly cause us to lose. We saw what happened in the midterms. We have an example of it already. This isn't speculation or me pulling, that out of thin air. We saw what happened with the midterms. I mean, Democrats had nothing going for them. Literally nothing. You all remember, we were talking about it right here on the channel. They had nothing to rally the troops off of. And then Roe v. Wade hit. and it all turned around, right? And then that red wave turned into more of a red mist, right? We still won the popular vote, but barely. That completely shifted things around. We should have won the Senate. We lost, right? Granted, we did take the House. You know, it should have been a bigger margin than what it was. And things got a little dicey there off of one issue. When we were in total control of where the train was going. But hey, like I said, maybe I'm wrong. Y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below. Peace and love, family. And thank you. Thank you to those of you that stuck around and, you know, gave me your ear. Okay, I really do appreciate it, especially on a divisive issue like that. I understand, you know, people can get really angry and, you know, especially when they're hearing stuff like that. So I get it, but I appreciate you guys for hearing me out. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.